Taking a look at 4A, how about UMS Wright, the arch rival of TR Miller? That's a big rivalry down in South Alabama, especially in the Bruton area. They're going to be facing 4A Region 4 runner-up, the Handley Tigers. Now, Handley finished runner-up to Lincoln in the regular season, fell to Lincoln. Last week, they weren't going to have any of Lincoln. They just destroyed the Golden Bears in a turnover-prone game.
Another one that where Handley's defense was able to take care of Lincoln in taking advantage of the turnovers. And same thing that the Lincoln coaches are saying was the same thing that I keep on saying. It was turnovers that were unlikely and unfortunately led to the loss in the game.
That's right. And in the Northern, now Handley's going to be taking on UMS Wright in the semifinal game. UMS Wright shut out Jackson High last week. Another rematch set up in the Northern bracket. Cherokee County and Aniana, the undefeated Warriors, got a 3-touchdown win over the Redskins. So that puts Cherokee County against a very, very good Deschler football team. You'd look at their record and say, well, you know, they've got 3 losses. Well, they had to forfeit 3 games. So technically you're looking at an undefeated Deschler team. And, you know, this team from Tuscumbia, they're playoff veterans. And so Cherokee County, they're undefeated. Coach Curry's got them where they need to go. But this is a Deschler football team that knows how to win playoff games.
Well, Cherokee County, we got to send you love. You know, there's actually a little rumor going out there that you were dissing Cherokee County. Can't believe where that started.
Who said that?
I don't know. It was just a rumor. It was word on the street. But we did not diss them, much like we did not diss Southside last year. That was the other rumor that we had to squash.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Cherokee County, you got Cody Blanchard as your quarterback, Jacob Morgan and DJ Five. Those 3 combined for a little over 300 yards in that game this past week. So looking at them to be able to keep that offense going, keep from turning the ball over seems to be the theme for this week. If you can keep the ball and score some touchdowns, you're good to go.
Well, that's the key to winning any football game.
Sure.
Hanging on to the ball, that's what's going to happen. 5A, area teams not really involved, but some interesting games. Viger taking on Carver Montgomery in the semifinal round. The Coleman Bearcats and the Russellville Golden Tigers. Russellville, the #1 team in 5A, making it to the last 4 teams.
Yeah.
And Coleman really is surprised. They got into the playoffs due to Parker having to forfeit. So, you know, lots of things happen, but they've made it this far, and you got to think Coleman wants to win it.
And we're into 6A.
That's right.
And matchups here, I mean, it's like all the powerhouses all together.
Well, 3 people you'd expect to see in this round. 1 kind of a surprise. In the South, of course, Davidson, a wonderful run into the playoffs last week, a big 20-point win over Murphy High. That put them in the semifinals, but Prattville. We're sorry, Prattville. Your lowest scoring output of the 2008 postseason. Only 42 points.
42, that's all you can get?
That's all you can muster?
Come on.
No, this Prattville defending state championship team is incredible. And shutout win over Auburn last week, an undefeated Auburn team. Yeah. And that puts Prattville taking on Davidson here in the semifinals in the South bracket.
Of course, we've talked about it before. Everyone in Auburn now completely out of whack at this point, unless they beat Alabama. Auburn was undefeated, the high school, undefeated going into the playoffs and everything, and just having a blast with it. Thought they may have a shot at being the upset school against Prattville, but just not happening.
No, and the winner of that game is going to be taking on possibly Hoover. The Bucks, they beat Mountain Brook last week. Mountain Brook pulled that shocking upset over Tuscaloosa County. But Hoover gets the win over a regional rival. And then the Huntsville Panthers, won their region. Both 6A Region 7 and 8 kind of iffy going in. So kind of, surprised to see Huntsville make it as far as they did. But they are here. They pulled the big win over Hewitt-Trussville last week, and that puts the Huntsville Panthers and the Hoover Bucks. You got to like Hoover in the game. They've got more experience, but, Huntsville's coming to play.
They are, and that's, a lot of people are saying they kind of lucked out on the fact that they weren't playing at Gaston City or they weren't playing in Oxford because those teams were upset going to the playoffs. But I beg to differ. This Huntsville team is good. I mean, you just can't take anything away from them. It's just like all these other teams that aren't getting respect when it comes down to getting into the playoffs. But, man, they made it to round 4. You got to give them some kind of respect for getting that far.
Yeah, the truth is, if you make it this far, you deserve to be here. So the 6A playoffs set. All the other region classifications are set. The semifinals, these games are going to decide who's going to be going to Birmingham, who's going to be playing in the Super 6.
It's going to be interesting, and we can't wait to see what's going on if Gaston can make it all the way. Leeds as well as far as
Cherokee County,
and Cherokee County can't give you enough love.
We love you.
We do. We really do. But seeing if you guys can, all 3 of those teams can at least make it in over to Legion Field, that would be awesome. to see if that can happen. We're going to have another follow-up on those Super 6.
That's right. We're going to have a Super 6 preseason next week.
It's all right here on ALSportsLive.com. It's the FFE, the Friday Football Extravaganza. We live on via the internet.
Viva la FFE.